Hey there guys, Nervous Trading Cards, and to say the least, complications arose. I don't know why I say why. So anyways, yeah, complications arose. So when I was messing around with OBS, I apparently accidentally set the the video quality to 240p. And that's not good. And my phone went off. So yeah, bad quality video, and I forgot to put on my pop filter, and yeah, so audio peaks a bit, but the commentary overall is still good. The audio quality is fine. It's just the video quality is shot. However, I did enjoy the commentary overall, and there's a few things in here that I did thoroughly enjoy, and I do commentate the entire thing. So that being alone, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, like, comment around below if you want to see more potato fight Vanguard. Well, see you guys in the video. Hey there guys, it's Nervous Trading Cards, and today we're going to be doing what I guess would be considered a deck and fight. Please don't sue me, Chris. This is my non-copyright version. I'll figure out the names as I end up going along. But today we're going to be going over Majesty Lord Blaster and the G era. Of course, as you can see, I am in G on the JP server, and so far MLB has been working out really good, surprisingly. Now, that being said, I know that most likely, as soon as I go online and do a ranked fight, I'm probably end up going to lose, and it's gonna be like, oh, see, this deck ain't good. But, you know, with that all being said, I did get to Legend 10 within 2 days using this deck on the JP server, which is the fastest I've ever gotten to Legend 10, and I didn't even really have to grind that hard. I have like a 70-80% win rate with this deck right now, but it is partially because of the format we are in. See, right now, a lot of decks, because they're focused on Stride or Legion, don't do a whole bunch till their 4th turn on average, and even if they went 2nd, usually their first grade 3 turn is more of a setup turn rather than, you know, an explosive turn. And because everyone's playing the countercharge PGs, that means that they won't be playing the old PG, so Majesty can rush them up to 5 rather quickly, which is the whole point of the deck going into this. Now, I don't have my G units finished. I'm only going to this box twice, so the G units would just simply be another Saint Blow and the 2 Samuels. I just haven't pulled any Samuels, and I haven't pulled my second Saint Blow, but honestly, you just kind of mostly stride for the sake of striding in this deck when you do stride. But with that being said, let's get into the actual deck itself. Starting off, of course, we have 2 copies of Sisyphus. These are my only 2 copies, actually. One SP, one not. But Sisyphus is solely here as a stride fodder. Need be, calm down as a 7k booster. He works perfectly fine. Might get cut in the future, but for now, he's a perfectly fine 2 of. Then moving on, I am playing 3 copies. Even though I only own 3 copies, I'm thinking for very specific reasons I might keep this at 3 of the countercharge PG. No, it's just good. Getting countercharge is great. Nope. And I'm playing right now actually one of the Soul Blast 2 draw card. I'm forgetting the name of this card. The reason I'm playing this card is simply that, you know, it's a good and extra draw, and if need be, it's a 5k, so I really don't feel bad whenever it gets nuked by the opponent. It's just a solid little card, and you generally don't use your soul as long as you maintain the 1 Blaster Blade and Darkened Soul. That's all that really matters, so just be careful of that. And then I am playing 1 copy of the Seeker PG. This is for the reason, as you might have saw a bit ago, I'm playing Alfred Exev, but however, I'm not playing any actual Seekers in the deck, so he's only a 20k base. Even though he can still get his crit generically if you have a full field, it is nice to be able to, on emergency, I can use his CB2 to either call up the 2nd copy of him I have in the deck, or I can call up this PG behind him to become a 26 body, which, you know, is magic numbers right now against heal guards. And if your opponent only has heals in hand, then you're sweeping past, you know, with an extra crit. You know, this is solely a niche situation, but it's come up more than once, and so for that reason, I'm playing as a 1 of, and I might keep it up that way. Going in next, playing 2 copies of K K is still your 10k attack in grade 1, and since you're not really going to be, you're trying your best not to commit too much to the board, this card is a nice, simple, solid, I'm a 10k, you know, body attacker, I'm not going to attack rears, and that's always good, always helpful. Might get cut in the future, for right now it's a solid 2 of. Then rounding out the grade 1s is for the Yin. Actually, I'm not using Lian as much as I used to. It's usually only once or maybe twice a game I'm using her. Many games I just don't even use the effect, so I'm thinking about cutting her down in the future. Like I said, just depends on what we get. But for right now, Royals don't have much good options for grade 1s. As we get into, or at least our generic, as we get into further in G and we get more of the good generic cards, you know, grade 1s I think are the things that'll probably end up changing the most. Now, moving on into the grade 2s, I'm playing 2 Starlight Violinist. This might get bumped up to 3, but I only have 2 right now, and 2 is working out, but this might get bumped up to 3, in which case I would simply knock my Bedivere that I'm playing at 3 down to 2, but also at the same time it is nice having 3 12k attackers. It's just such a nice solid amount. But Starlight Violinist just straight replaces Star Cult Trumpeter. Very sadly, because I love Trumpeter. Trumpeter, please, can we just get the Stardust Trumpeter starter in English for V? That's all I want. Please. Please. But anyways, yes, this is literally because Star Call was a Counter Blast 2 to only call it Grade 2 blasters. This is a Counter Blast Soul Blast to call it any Grade 2. Literally just a better card, like in every single regard. So, sadly, got replaced. And with that being said, moving on, like I said, Bedivere. Playing 3 copies of it, since you're, like I said before with K, since you're trying not to commit too much to the board because everything just nukes your board now, between Kagero and Gear Chronicle, mostly those 2 things, because they're the main 2 things you're fighting, you kind of want to try to keep as low commitment as possible, so since Majesty you actively neg yourself with, and you're not really plussing outside of your draw triggers, so it is nice to be able just to have 12k attackers to call to the board. Then, playing 4 copies of different arts of Blaster Blade, you know, he's just good. The real reason you're able to make this deck work is because you play down the 1 Blaster Blade that you need to be able to kill something, and you hold on to every Blaster Blade, only call 1 a turn to, you know, basically snipe them and poke them, because all the point of this deck is to rush them up to 4 to 5 damage, and then basically just try your best to chip away at them. Of course, if you do get rushed and they give you a bunch of damage, and you do have 2 Blaster Blades in hand, you already have them at 5, then sure, you might want to call down 2 Blaster Blades, do the CB4, pop their front row, do 3 swings at their face, but that's up for you to decide how you want to do that. And for the last one, going into 4 Blaster Dart, because he's just kind of needed for the deck, and you want to see him. And now, starting off with the grade 3s, this is the biggest helpful thing. So, you will not go into this card like every single game. Alfred Exif is a win more card. It's just the fact that you can Legion with the original Blaster Blade, which means you will trigger the Blaster Blades on play skill on Vanguard as well. So if need be, if you're out of Blaster Blade, you can also ride this to you know, ride your Blaster Blade from the Legion to get its CB2 off and kill something that way. That's also good. But it's also just a Legion that says if you full board, it gets a crit basically. It can also CB2 to call it a Seeker from your deck, and until your next turn, that Seeker cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects. Pretty solid effect overall, but there's no real good generic Seekers. There is the grade 2 is when its attack hits a Vanguard, you can CB1 check top 5 for a grade 3. I personally have not played any like versions of that card in any of my decks. I know most competitive decks really like playing those cards, but to me it's a waste of CB most of the time, and if I whiff, it really is a waste of CB. I prefer to just use my CB solely for Blaster Blades. It makes things simpler, and on top of this is, like I said, simply a win more card. It's an alternative thing to go into if you are bricking, you don't have your MLB pieces, or if you're getting low on the deck and you want to cycle back in triggers, or, you know, just simply, like I said, just being a Legion power in general. If that can get a crit if your stride isn't, you know, up to being stuffed, because striding, you're just kind of trying to stride in this deck, because there's no real stride so far that properly synergizes with the whole setup until we get to Religious Soul Saver. Then going into Majesty Lord Blaster to keep the deck. Of course, we are playing for the boy. However, it is very important to note this, because they changed how Majesty ends up working in Zero compared to the original version. Because the original version says as long as you have Blaster Blade and Darkened Soul, he gets the 2K and the crit passively. This is actually really good, especially back during G, because I mean, before the stride rule change, you could ride Blaster Blade, and then your opponent ride the grade, or like if you're going first, you ride the Blaster Blade, right? And then your opponent rides their grade 2, and then you go to your turn, and you could like ride Blaster Dark or whichever way around. And then they would ride the grade 3, they can't stride, and then you just ride Majesty, and you have your passive 12k and a crit, and then you can stride yourself. That's a strat I used a lot during G, and I won so many like locals using that strat whenever I needed to. But only the 2k power is actually passive, because you see, Majesty's extra critical isn't a passive critical. It just simply, when you select both Blaster Blade and Darkened Soul, changes Majesty's default critical from 1 to 2. And it's attached to the card itself. And whenever you stride over it, it actually resets the state of the card as far as it being... Once you stride out, it's considered technically a new card, quote-unquote. So it resets the default critical to 1, which means you have to suck Blaster Blade and Blaster Darkened Soul again in order to get its crit again, so be wary of that. Now, also the fact that heal guards are a thing is both a good thing for you, because now Majesty has a way of defending itself a little more consistently, especially with the 12k base. Actually helps a lot. So many games where my opponent would, if I was an 11k base, just break through my heals, but because I was a 12k base, the heal just put me up to 32 after like taking a damage that put me up to 17, and be at 32 to their 31 on a lot of attacks. And so yes, heals, the heal guardians definitely help this deck survive, but it also means that because you're usually swinging unboosted a lot of the times with Majesty, that you'll be triggering a heal guard before you'll be triggering a before you trigger a PG, because it's just going to be 12 to their 11 most of the time. And then moving on, because I am playing 2 Alfred Exiv, I am playing only 3 Ganslot. If you don't like this, and I understand if you do, if you think it hurts the consistency, you can drop Alfred Exiv down by 1 and just play the 4th Ganslot. Completely understandable. I just like having a little bit more consistent access to Alfred Exiv when I need it, since I can't search it out, but it's still there. And then following up for the last of the main deck, of course, is for heal guards. I don't think every single deck will use heal guards. 99% will, but I think you will find your niche situations where you probably won't. Honestly, it's been pretty nice being able to put draw triggers onto Ganslot, because before, whenever you would open Ganslot, and you kind of like wary to put it back, because if you put it back too early, you could then check it early as well and just be a whiffed heal, and that was never fun. But now it's just like, oh, it's a draw trigger, just chunk it back. I don't care if it gets triggered early, it's a draw trigger, I really don't care. And yeah, and because I always draw all my heals and hardly ever check them, this is very nice, the fact that they actually have shield now. So overall, the deck works really well. Like I said, G-Zone is really whatever. I do have 2 God Blades, one of them being SP, which is really cool. In the future, when we get more strides, this might get broken down, because 1,000 generic materials is really good. But since these are my only 2 God Blade, and I am not going into that box more than twice, it will simply have to be that. I'm waiting on my 2nd Saint Blow, because this will be super helpful for whenever I get in, because that means we'll have a stride that can gain and crit, and it will just get really big. So that'll be helpful. And then I'll just end up putting in some Samuels in here whenever I get them, and we'll see how that ends up going. Since I didn't pull any Samuels in my first box for our resets, I just pulled some GRs. Because once I pulled both the 2 GRs, I just reset the box. And yeah. So that being said, that's it for the deck profile. Let's get started into the actual fights. Alright, so now that we are here, I am 100% sure everything is going to go horribly wrong, and I'm going to lose like all 2 to 3 games I end up playing, and it's going to really suck. But with that being said, let's just get into it. Hopefully it'll all turn out alright. I'm currently on my 3rd win in a row with MLB. Oh, actually another Royal player. So far on my League of Legend 10, I've only encountered 2 other Royal players. They're both playing Alt Mile. This person might also be playing Alt Mile, but we'll end up seeing. So right now we have Blaster Dark and we have Violinist. That means if we ride Blaster Dark, we can end up getting, you know, win to start MLB, and Violinist can become another one. So let's keep Lien as a grade 1 ride and keep these 2 since they're basically Starlight Violinist can become another piece. Alright, look at that. We have all of our pieces technically. Let's see. He is playing what appears to be Alt Mile, and I will be going second, which does suck a bit. However, that means that he also can't stride first, even though I'm not going to stride, so I don't know. We'll just end up seeing, alright, some defensive options. It's not really, like, I'm going to draw all my heals, so it really doesn't matter. He wrote an 8k, which is annoying. Now, here's the thing. If your opponent writes a 10k grade 2, oh my gosh, it's really annoying, especially if they have the 13k intercepts, because you just really don't commit in this game, in this deck. Oh no. He's playing crits. Oh, but that means his deck's probably not complete, especially since he's playing the AK. So this isn't going to be like a super serious match, but still, Alt Mile is really strong and could come out swinging and kill me. I've had that happen, you know, in some unranked games, because I've actually quite a bit of unranked, and that's a majority. Oh, look at that. Perfect. We literally need nothing else. And the fact that they unnerfed Wingull Brave is so good. You know what? I didn't even go over Wingull Brave in the deck profile now that I think about it. But, you know, that was pretty obvious that it was going to be Wingull Brave. Now, here's the question. How do I go about this? I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this for the rush, since I don't need any more pieces, and call out. I'm going to call it a Bedivere. I'm just going to call it a Bedivere, because unless he is playing Blaster Blades, which normal Blaster Blades, which I don't see most Alt Mile decks doing, even though I do with my Alt Mile build, we'll just end up doing that. Alright, good. He didn't get a trigger, so that means I can guarantee hit this, but I hit a draw trigger anyways. Grab a K. Alright, everything's turning out super well so far. And, oh, he's playing Alfred Exiv as well as a stand. This clearly is just a deck that, this is probably a new player. Well, it wouldn't be a new player because it has the Aichi skin. Alright, so we got Wingull, Seeker. Clearly just trying to do his best of cobbling together what he has most likely, which is fair. He probably has, you know, the Seeker deck. That's probably what it is. He probably has Seekers, and he's just trying his best to build a... that is true. Now he can snipe the Bedivere. Oh, he doesn't go after the Bedivere. Okay. Because he can, because of the power boost, can guarantee... no, oh wait, never mind. That would only go up to 18, even if I did hit a trigger. Alright. See, this is fine now, because that means that I can eat out a PG here. Ooh. Of course, that's how it goes. So we'll ride our SP, Majesty, because we're good gamers. And, yeah, we'll end up doing that. We'll skip Stride, because, you know, we need to do stuff first. Play out Blaster Dark. Play out Blaster Blade. We will be eating a PG out of his hand this turn. Blaster Blade can kill Blaster Blade. And opponent's being disconnected. Hopefully they, you know, stay connected. Alright, go into battle. Blaster Dark swings. Bedivere swings. As long as he doesn't heal here. Alright, that's a stand, that's fine. Playing a lot of stands. Suck both using the soul, and we will eat a PG out of his hand. Or a heal, whichever, you know, it'd be. Alright, got another draw. That is very good. Alright, got ourselves a Stride Father. It's a heal. Well, that does not. That means that he may still have. Let's see. It puts. Oh, gives him exactly 4 and drop. Move. Let's see. Now, does he Stride or does he Legion? Because if he Legions, he gets a free thing. But he doesn't have the 2 CB needed to do a Blaster Blade. So he Strides. Does he have a Godblade? No, he has a Samuel. But he can't make a... Oh, actually, if he slaps on his whole hand, he can activate Samuel's skill. Fortunately, you know, we do have... Other stuff, let's see. He's throwing down a grade 3. Here comes an intercept he's going to call out. I wonder what it's going to be. Lavario. Alright, you know, 10k attackers are still very annoying. Fortunately, I have a 10k attacker grade 1 and a stride fodder here. So he's just going in for the sake of it being oof. Yeah, this is the biggest problem with deck because you are rushing. That means that you're most likely going to whip a lot of heals. And of course he's going to get a heal back himself. That's just to, you know, be expected. Oof, that's not the best. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Alright, so typically here this would be fine, but we really need to push him back up in damage. Of course I'm going to ride skip, but I think for now I'm just going to go like this. Have K swing at him. See, K being really nice, just being a, of course, Majesty by default being a 10k is not the best. And I sadly only have one heal left in deck. Alright. Ooh, another heal. Oh, I'm getting a friend fight right now. Funny. Alright, so now he can Legion if he wants to for an intercept. Fortunately, I can't block everything. Assuming nothing like insane happens. But does he stride again? Because he could Legion. He would be able to Legion back 2 heals, I think. Or 3 heals. 3 heals. See, he currently has only 1 heal in deck, but none of his PGs are accounted for. So, and he is being disconnected. Come on, man! I need this game to. I record. This game is going in the video. All right. I need this to work. Could you please not time out on me, please? Because if he times out, then this has to be a 3-fight video. I was thinking about just making a 2-fight video, but if he legitimately times out, then it has to be. And this already wasn't going to be, like, the craziest matchup anyways, just because of what his deck is. So I was probably going to do a 3rd game anyways, but we'll simply end up just probably going through a 3rd game, so it looks like he's going to time out, sadly. Ah, man, them connections issues. Sadly, this has happened to me like once or twice, where especially when I was about to rank up and where I'd start to get disconnected, I'd be like, no, when I just see myself tick away and then I'd lose the game. Oh, no, don't be like that. Come on, don't be like that. Oh, yeah, so that's a glitch, actually. That's a pretty sad glitch. So, if your opponent times out, it'll actually briefly, if they can stride, show you their G-zone. And so, that is a glitch. Admittedly, if they timed out like that, you were probably going to win. And that information right there is going to be like so little, it probably doesn't matter. But that is still a pretty nasty glitch. Sure, I guess we'll go on ahead. You know, he might still hit some triggers here and, he might be able to make some kind of comeback, although I doubt it. Okay, so do that. Give the power there so that, see, does he have PG? Yep. Alright, so let's see if he, I doubt this is going to be another PG, and he only has 1 heal left in deck. Yeah, that's his last PG. So, unless he gets the miracle heal, this is game, and sadly he did timeout. Oh, he actually got the miracle heal. That's crazy. Now that's his last heal. And, yeah, we're actually sitting well defensively, but he's going to have so little time because he timed out the first time that gives you very little whenever it goes back to you. And sadly, he's still disconnected. Why? Why? Also, sometimes whenever it's popping like this, your opponent actually just kind of closed the app and gave up. If they weren't doing so hot, and it just kind of wastes your time. But with that, I guess we get a timeout victory. Sadly, with that being said, let's go on ahead and get into game 2. And now we are here back. Now I'm on my 4-win streak. Can I finally get my Psyqualia banner? The answer to that question and more is no. But, alright, so these are weird things. So, I've owned Starlight Violinist, you know, since it came out. I never actually noticed the wings on Starlight. Or we have an actual player, and clearly a JP player, with how excited they are about how they've put their names together. Alright, so we basically, because this is going to become Blaster Blade, and these are all really good. So because this can become Blaster Blade, we can ride that and just search out the Majesty, so we'll just keep this hand. Now, do note that when you do rely on this tactic to get your Majesty, you do run into an issue of your Wingle whiffing. So for that reason, I'm going to keep one Ganslot in hand at the moment, especially if I need to for Stride Father. But you always run the big risk of whiffing from your heal, not taking away your CB, unless your opponent gives you 2 CB. But seeing how he wrote a great 6K, probably not going to happen. And he hits a draw trigger. So usually if you see your opponent have this, they typically don't have complete decks, but that's not 100%. Ooh, Ganslot, please stop. Oh, you can stop, Ganslot, please. I only have 3 of you, and this keeps happening. Alright, so we're going to go on ahead and chunk back a Ganslot again. Now, we could rush here, right? We could rush, but I want to make sure this is going to hit. So we're just going to go in here. Alright, so did not heal out. That is good. So we can... Oh, whew, another draw. Not the best for us, but we'll go on ahead, do this, get ourselves a SP Majesty Lord Blaster because we are good players, and pass turn. Now the question is, how many defenses does he ride? What even is this card again? Is this the... No, that's not the... Ooh. See, here's the problem with most budget players. They actually run 10Ks, and that actually hurts the strategy a lot when you fight the budget players. Ugh. Damage check. Alright, we hit a draw, so... Ooh, I hate when that happens, but you know, it's still good. He has to hit a trigger. Darn it! We are not doing good, boys. We are not doing good. This is not good. This is a no bueno. Alright, so we need to start playing down stuff, otherwise we're going to start dropping our hands. So, ride Majesty like a good boy, end up playing that out. Shoot. That will be high rolling. Oh, did I accidentally not? Shoot, I was trying to press. That's no good. Oh well, this is probably going to be safer anyways. Oh gosh, this is no bueno. This is a no bueno. Shoot. So we'll play this. Play this here, go on ahead and snipe this, because we are really going to have to hope that he, like, whiffs somehow, or we get some heals going on. Okay, so he doesn't whiff there, so that's good. So that means that we're going to be able to guarantee, not guarantee if he hit the, or so he doesn't, so we can guarantee knock him up to 5 here. Hopefully we'll hit some draws into some PGs, or hit a heal. So we're doing our Majesty. Why did... I sucked in the intercept. I called this down here to suck this in. I'm mad at myself. And you see, someone complained to me that I only run 3 Ganslots, so apparently that's not a problem. But what is a problem is that I'm not a smart player, apparently, and I goofed up and accidentally, when I was trying to check the field, accidentally didn't use this last one, so I extended with this one so I can, but I guess it's not going to matter here now, because, he was going to rewind, what would be left anyways, but still, yikes. Well, this means that I am dead, most likely, and he's probably going to go into Mystery Flare and hope for extra turn. Oof. Oh no, he's gonna go in that. No, here's the thing. Most JP players actually go for the Mystery Flare. YOLO actually do it, and that's actually what stopped me from ranking up earlier, and I was very sad. But, with that being said, it probably is smart not to go YOLO on Mystery Flare so early, but, you know, when you've been rushed to 5, might as well. I always just feel like it's worth YOLOing, because even if you whip, you still get all your CB back, and... Oh, Mike. And on first strike, you're really not doing a whole bunch. Is he? Is he going to go for it? Nope. Alright, so he's going to go on ahead, secure himself a Strike Father, and we horribly lost the game. We won the first game through timeout, even though it was a pretty solid shot that we were still going to win that game. But against a competitive deck, I played horribly, and now we are the dead. Oh wow. We whiffed the heal. You actually put back my blaster blade? What? And now this can't hit. Ooh, unga boonga, unga boonga. Oh sweet, we already have a PG. So I'm gonna ride skip. I guess we'll strike God Blade for the lulz, but that means his hand is super defensive, so that's not fun. We'll stride, even though you know he's totally just gonna go into. Oh no, he doesn't have GB2 yet, so this is fine. Draw into. How could this happen? We have one heal left. So we'll end up calling out Blaster Blade. Do a retire. Should have called that the other way around. I am just making all the see. This video is to teach you how to make the proper plays as I screw up. So I think being on camera, I'm just less focused on the actual game because I was going to call Blaster Blade over here, call the Bedivere over there, and call it good. But now we don't have that option, so we're just going to call the Bedivere and hope that we hit a trigger. Alright, so there's one defensive out of his hand. Alright, so we at least hit a trigger, so that makes up for it slightly. There goes another PG, and nothing there. There goes another heal. Is this a third heal? Oh nope, it's a PG, so we have now took out 2 heals and a PG, but he will stride. Depends on whether or not he has another Glimmer Breath, because if he doesn't have another Glimmer Breath, I can survive. Because he's not at GB2 yet, even if he's striding into, let's see, what is he striding into? Alright, that's fine. That's fine, because that's not going to hit. So it just solely depends on whether or not he has a Glimmer Breath. Ooh, I'm fine with this. Oh, that's still an intercept. That's still one less intercept, so I'm fine with that, because that means I have an easier time, you know, poking. So heal, and if he doesn't hit triggers here, then a heal will block it, but oh no, he's going to use that, so yeah. It will use my PG. And he is currently 2 heals down. Oh, it's a good thing my PG, I got that PG, you know. Of course, it'd be really nice. Okay, so... you know what? Screw it. I think I'm going to, because I'm really needing to draw into something that's not a defensive card. If I had another open CB, that would have been nice. Alright, that is fine. That is fine. We can make that work. But he probably has the defensive cards he needs, realistically. Although he will have the GB2 now, so... See, that's another PG. And that means I have to hit a draw trigger into a draw trigger for his GB to not, like, kill me. Or I need to hit a heal? Nope. So... It depends on what if he has boosters and triggers, basically. Slash what he strides into. So he's going to stride. So depending on what happens here... Now, I have lost my critical because I strode. So this depends solely on what what cards he has. If he has Glimmer Breath or the Grade 2 Sniper card, then we're going to be in a bit of trouble. Alright, so he has no intercepts. Okay, and so we will survive this. It comes down to whether or not he heals. He has 2 possible heals left in his deck, and he's going to have triple drive. He's low on a deck. Alright, so he does hit a heal that does suck, but we can potentially still, depending on what we grab, defeat him. Draw? Ooh. Yes. Do we stride? I think it's fair to stride. Of course, if I had a second, if I had my second copy of Saint Blow, this would be an amazing thing going on here. Probably draw my last heal. Nope, it's a Blaster Dart. Alright, let's go. So, play out Blaster Dart, come swinging in. He has 1 heal left in his deck, possibly. So we'll see if this last card in his hands is last heal or last PG. I still have a heal left in my deck, which I get right there. Ooh! Well, it looks like that's what we call a good game, boys. Depending on... Actually, I do have my 12k base. So depending on what he has... Oh, he can stride. Oof. That's probably game then. Dang, he can stride. He top deck stride, father. Oof. I made a lot of mistakes here too, which is the sad part. But he's out of heals, but so am I. If I had a second intercept, we'd be going good here. But yeah, no matter what happens here, even if I hit a defensive, unless I get defensive to my last heal or draw, I was gonna say if I get a drill into my last PG, we would have had something there. Let's see, is this next thing a draw? Because if so, I'm gonna be sad because there'd be a chance of that being into my last PG. Oh, well, there is my last PG there. So if that was a draw, man, would have survived, would have won, would have been great. Well, let's go on ahead and do a third game. So you are getting to see the deck played at least, and you get to see the general strats. First game I was actually doing solid, but you know, opponent timed out. I still had a pretty good chance of winning that, but he also had a good chance of possibly winning that, just because, you know, the title triggers and stuff unfold. Second game, I screwed up a lot and wasted a lot of card advantage, but could have possibly won that if I didn't screw up so bad, because I would have had another blaster blade, another intercept that could have potentially won me the game there by stalling me out more, but, you know, it is how it be. So we're going to go into the final round of, I'm going to call non-trademark deck and fight. Alright, so we're fighting another Gear player. Actually, surprisingly, no Kagero here in these three matches. Gear Chronicle, I honestly expect to see, because a lot of people like Gear Chronicle. Gear Chronicle is very strong, very good. So, here, right? Alright, perfect. We already have all of our pieces, and we are going first, so that we get to knock them up rather quickly. Alright, we definitely have all of our pieces now. Go ahead and ride K. Go ahead and send Gancelot back, because we have no reason not to send Gancelot back, except for trying to hold on to it from maybe guard restrict later on / stride, but we're not worried about that at the moment. We're just going to go ahead and search out pieces, turn end. Now, if you want to try and conceal info you have, only ride the blaster blades that you get from Gancelot if you're playing multiple arts like me. The smart, honestly, thing to do to conceal information is just play all the four the same art of blaster blade, but I ended up doing this because I like this more. And, alright, so he's playing this, which means that he most likely is a free-to-play right now. It doesn't have all of his pieces. And he's trying to get Chrono Jet, and there goes the PG, yeah! I already have my piece for you, so why would you do that to me? Right? Actually, the smarter thing there to do, because I kind of got ahead of myself, the smarter thing there to do would have been to, especially because of the possibility of a heal, would have been to ride Violinist there instead and just call Blaster Dark here to the back row, since there's nothing he'd be able to do about that turn. And thus, I would have also, I would still have my booster for next turn. And so yeah, more optimal plays. Like I said, I'll probably get better at this if I do more of these in the future. I just kind of get, you know, I get a little bit more distracted trying to do commentary than actually focusing on the game. I really should. It doesn't really become the best the best content otherwise. But let's see. He's gonna go ahead and search. Does he get it? And he gets the Legion at least, so that's good. And he gets to, you know, perform a stand trigger. Definitely, if they're stand triggers, they're probably a free-to-play player. Alright, hit a draw trigger into another Blaster Blade. That is good. And because he hit a trigger, though, he can still hit. Which is not fun for us. But, you know, it's how the cookie crumbles. You know, of course, there's no point playing the Soul Blast calls for that guard restrict. Draw triggers for days. Let's go. Actually needed a booster set. That's pretty good. Alright, got Strike Father, so we pretty much secured all of our pieces except for defensive pieces. So as you can see, as far as the aggro goes, the deck does it quite well. So we'll see if he gets a trigger here. He might. This is me being a little bit more greedy, a little bit more high rolly by doing this. Boom. And the thing is, when you're fighting against these decks, even if you clear your field early, they're probably going to just board wipe you anyways. So, might as well put stuff to good use, you know? And with that, we'll knock him up to 5 real quick. And that's pretty much like, you know, like I said, the main strat of this deck is just to knock your opponent up to 5 real quick. And hopefully start poking away at all of their defenses. It's definitely not a perfect deck. I would not call this anywhere like close to 2-1. Art got a PG. Alright, we have pieces now. Would have been great if we had a heal there because while we were equal. Alright, we got PG of his out. Alright, he's already at 5 damage where he's at grade 3. Getting MLB off is pretty darn consistent. And we have 2 different ways to stride. I might hold on to this just in case a guard restricts. Let's see, does he have... Yeah, he does have the Chronojet. He'll probably want to go ahead and use the Leon. Or rewind the Leon when he strides. He does have the Legion in hand, which I think would be the prime discard target, especially since he... Alright, so that does tell me he still has the Legion in hand. I would have personally still kept Legion in hand, but you know... let's see, so he's going for the yellow Mystery Flare. This is actually what stopped me from ranking up to rank 10 when I could have earlier and made me lose a couple of games in a row before I got back up to rank 10. Is that he did this, of course, and, you know, did that, and then he just came in and hit me, and he got it all, extra turn off. I actually survived for like 2 extra turns, almost beat him. I just needed 1 more intercept. A lot of times it's simply what it comes down to is you just need that 1 extra defensive card is what you lose to, and you would probably win on the next game just because of how much you pressured them. Depending on what you call... Well, okay, yeah, see, you got good numbers there. Alright, so this... See, what determines what's about to happen in this match comes down solely to whether or not he gets Mystery Flare off. Now you put yourself in this awkward position where you need to attack with Mystery Flare first. So no trigger. Heal trigger. Oof, that hurts me. That really hurts me. He had a chance for another heal trigger there. See, does he get it? Nope. Ooh, and there was heals there on top. Ooh, that was gone. But there goes my only defensive card. Now, if he was still at 5, we'd be going, boy. So we're going to skip for the moment and skip ride, skip that. We're going to call out Blaster Blade and do a pop. We're going to then call out this. Keep the blade in Darkened Soul. Draw. Alright, that's good. That is good. We'll go on ahead because we're already pretty much out and do this. We'll come in here. Hope for triggers to hopefully guarantee. Alright, so there's that. That's some good stuff there. That's a good heal. So he'll have to do a defensive card here. So that's a PG out of the way. And if he doesn't heal here, which he puts... I forget, that shuffle, doesn't it? And so does he have another PG? Alright, he does have another PG. These games always literally come down to the wire, because I literally drain them like all their defenses. Now he actually has the chance to YOLO me again. Unfortunately, I kind of don't have any defensive options, even though this deck filters through all of its normal units rather quickly, and you'd hope to get the draws to go into your PGs. It just doesn't happen some games. Well, he's not going for another Mystery Flare YOLO, surprisingly. I definitely would have done it. Of course, I do still have 3 heals in deck, so I could possibly end up getting off the... I could end up possibly, you know, getting the Miracle Heal off, because I do still have 3. And, ooh, that's pretty big for me if he doesn't heal. If he doesn't heal here... Okay, that doesn't seem like the best, because now if I get a defensive, this can't hit. And I get out of defensive. That didn't seem like the smartest move. Oh, okay, I guess that we will win. Ride skip, we'll keep that. We won't invoke. We'll end up just calling this out, because I can, because I like Blaster Dark. No, I forgot, duh, I'm stupid. I keep fucking up so bad. Well, here we go, boys. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, good. Wait. Oh, really? This is something new for me? I never actually, not strode and, like, soul blasted before. I forgot. So, yeah, because his default critical becomes 2, it will actually maintain. Alright. So, yeah, there's a PG. Now, let's see. How many heals did he have left in his deck? Oof. How many triggers are left in my deck? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I come in like this and he gets the miracle, then I have a pretty good chance of being able to break through. He does get the miracle. Now, I probably should have attacked with Vanguard first, but Nate, this is also another neat thing though, since they did change his default crit to 2. See? Alright, so I do break through, so the high risk was worth it because I didn't know how many heals he had there. And there gets off another heal. And so I doubt he's going to have 3 heals on top of his deck. Yep, alright, so that's game. So, we won one by timeout, lost the other one because I was being stupid, and both me and the opponent did stupid things, and I came out on top. And we also got to discover that if you Soul Blast out, you don't actually need both the Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark and Soul to keep the default 2 critical, since they no longer made that passive. In that regard, it actually becomes a slight buff if you do need to pay a Soul Blast cost. You just lose the 2k power. But if you do stride over him, you will lose the critical because it does reset the card's state. So, yeah, good thing. We learned a lot. I think we both learned, you know, me, you, whoever else is watching, learned quite a bit here. I'm going to just call it there. That was actually a great way to finish it off. A great discovery. And, yeah. Hope to see you guys later. Keep playing the games you want to play. And as always, have fun.